So
Yeah.
I've had to flip a coin on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I just got to let a few people in another Zoom call, and
Gotcha.
then I'm good. So
Yeah, yeah, I could do that much, but I can't fully concentrate on both of them.
exactly. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Magley, I am now having difficulty, so give me a moment. My computer's moving absolutely slow.
Okay, no problem. We'll probably start with a few introductions,
Okay.
and then you just let me know when you are ready.
Gotcha.
So I think we're live now. I think I have it all together. Today is just not a tech positive day for me or Keisha or anyone. Technology seems to be working against us. However, good afternoon. How's everybody?
Very good.
Very good.
Good, thank you.
Good,
Glad
thanks.
to hear it. Glad to hear it. So today is the last day of our series on inclusive marketing, and we're focusing on women. And some of you may remember Keisha Ward with Opulence Marketing Group that joined us, I think a few months ago, maybe back in May or April. I can't even remember now when it was. But she joined us a few months ago during one of our sessions. And then she's back today to do the presentation on marketing to women. So I'm really excited about that. I hope you are just as excited as I am. And although this series only focused on 4 primary communities, as you all know, the first week we opened up with the Black and African American community. The second week we touched on the Hispanic and Latinx community. Last week we talked about the LGBTQIA+ community, and this week we're closing out women. Although those are the 4 communities we selected, I do want you to consider and think about your marketing efforts going forward. That when we're talking about inclusive marketing, there are so many other groups that you need to consider when we're talking, whether you're talking about age, whether you're talking about religion, whether it's just so many other things you kind of want to be cognizant about when you're talking about inclusive marketing. And hopefully these past 4 weeks gave you a glimpse of some of the things to understand. And as you do your marketing going forward, it kind of open up the eyes of your brain, of your mind, to kind of look beyond that and constantly thinking about ways to be more inclusive. You know, when we're thinking about our disabled community, you want to make sure you're marketing in the right way. So I just want to, I don't want to go on a tangent, but hopefully everybody understands what I'm saying when I say it's not just those 4 groups. Those are just the 4 groups we selected. I'd also like to say that next week starts our new series, and our new series for the month of August, excuse me, I can't remember the months. For the month of August, we are doing a millionaire marketing email series. Millionaire email marketing series, excuse me. And you all know the importance of email marketing, especially during this time. And we have Dominique Bursey of Flor Marie, who's going to actually conduct the entire series. She wrote the book of Millionaire Marketing, Email Marketing, and she will be with us through the entire month to share some gems with us. And hopefully we can apply those things to our businesses and have a better email marketing strategy going forward. I will leave it up to Keisha whether or not she wants to do introductions or jump right into the presentation. I know you know how long your presentation actually is and how much time we only have until 1:30. So if you want, we can hold off to the end, and if time allows, we can do it. But
yeah, we can do it at the end.
Okay, so I will leave it over to Keisha, and I will be quiet now. If you have any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. We're also watching the Facebook Live for any questions that you may have.
Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. Today, as Magley said, we're going to be discussing marketing to women for this session of the inclusive marketing presentation. Just a moment. Okay, so if you all have been on, I did present, as she mentioned before. My name is Keisha Ward, owner of Opulence Marketing Group. And for today's agenda, we're going to do the overview of who we are as women, facts about us, what we value, key challenges, how to reach us, what doesn't work, where to find us, and then just some final reminders to keep in mind. So who we are multifaceted beings. Today's women juggle work, family, being partners, being a career woman. We are the most independent generation when it comes to millennials as well as baby boomers, and we value our independence. We're diverse, being culturally, racially, age group as well, and what we prefer socially. We drink wine, we go to church, we listen to podcasts about murder, we go to TED Talks, and we binge watch Housewives. So we're extremely diverse women. We are more educated. And actually, I believe that, I forgot the figure, but more women than men are college educated. And we're key decision makers when it comes to household purchases. We're entrepreneurs, with 1 out of every 11 women having their own business. And we're also loyal when it comes to brands as well as family and community. So some facts about us. We are half the population. We have up to $15 trillion in purchasing power. We're the primary decision maker for consumer goods in 85% of our households. We're the driving force behind shopping trends. So I don't know if you all remember when Birchbox was popular and now how subscription boxes became popular. That's from women driving the force of that, as well as digital features and brand influence. 47% of millennial women know brand stories and the founder. So that's going to be a crucial fact when we discuss again what we value, because we do value loyalty and we like to get to know who's behind our brands. 90% of us are likely to share something with a friend if we like the product and if we don't like the product. So that's very crucial if women are a part of your market. You want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward at all times. 60% of us shop with a cause, meaning that we're altruistic and we like companies and brands that value causes that we align ourselves with. We're actually the top home buying segment after married couples, which is an interesting fact to know. 94% of women between the ages of 15 and 35 spend over an hour per day shopping online. So sorry, husbands, they're trying to hide it from you, but we shop a lot. 85% of women say that if they like a brand, they will remain loyal to it. And if y'all know me, like I said before, I love Starbucks. They're altruistic, they have a cause. I just absolutely love them. And I mean, the loyalty key is very true. So what we value as women, we value family and relationships, whether it's partner relationships, our mother, grandmother, our friends. We value all of our relationships. Body positivity, just because in society there's so much emphasis put on looks and how a woman presents herself, we value positive influences no matter what we're shaped like, look like, etc. We value a career and life balance, which is sometimes a difficult thing for women to strike, especially being an entrepreneur or a woman that has a family or wants to build a family. We value communication, clear, concise communication, companies that don't just sell to us once, but continue to keep us along with them on their journey. We value, again, causes and charity. Let us know if your company is donating a portion of proceeds to build homes for someone, but we back brands that have a purpose. We value sisterhood bonds and female positive communities and spaces. So that includes online communities, whether it's groups of business women or book clubs. We enjoy having sisterhood bonds with each other so that we can uplift each other. More importantly, too, we value being seen, heard, and valued, because oftentimes, because of the way society is built with the patriarchy, women were oftentimes in the past said better seen than heard. So today's women, we're very modern, and we would rather know that we're valued, our opinions, and what we think. And again, we're independent. We like to have our own. We like to move on our own time. And we value self-care, grooming, and beauty. Okay, so key challenges. I narrowed it down to 4 that I feel are reoccurring. So career advancement for women is one challenge, invisible workloads, the pink tax, and finances and gender pay gap. So to get into each one, with what's weighing women down, these are just some general things that women feel are holding them back. So 77% of female leaders feel they have to work harder to prove themselves. 38% of women hold manager level positions, and that's not even C-suite positions or like executive vice presidents. 63% of women say they're less likely than men to be considered for senior positions. 76% of women agree that being a parent affects their career more than a man's, which we'll get into. And then when it comes to pay, 40 to 50% of women we spend more on common goods and services, which is the pink tax, which we'll get into as well. And then 93% of women say they have shared or primary responsibilities for daily shopping, household chores, and food prep. So with that leads to the other portion, which is the invisible workload that women have. So women constantly have to juggle household chores, food prep, caring for not only their children, but sometimes an older family member or their parents. And so when it comes to the breakdown for men and women, household chores, women take care of 88% of household chores. When it comes to food prep, 89%, and then shopping for daily needs like soap, shampoo, 89%. So for those of you that are not men, kind of think about who cares for those primary things in your home. Meanwhile, women still go to work a 9 to 5, and come home and take care of the kids. So the pink tax, what is it? The pink tax, they're basically products that are marketed for women that cost more than the men's version of the same product, which is personal care products, shampoo, razors, etc. Things that are pretty much identical, but one is pink and one's blue. So women and girls products cost 7% more on average, and pink colored items can cost 2 to 15% more. And with that being said, women spend $1,300 more annually than men do. And so I have an example in the corner of basically the Schick Hydro razor. One is for men and one's for women. There's essentially no real difference. But if you look at the price, the women's razor is $18.49 and the male razor is $14.99. And so the other issue that women face is the wage gap. So the wage gap is, it refers to the differences in earnings between women and men with similar education and experience. Overall, women working full-time in the US make only 82% of what men do. And collectively, working women lose out on more than $500 billion per year. And to break it down further, because there are differences when it comes to race and culture, white women make 79 cents per dollar compared to a white man. And these are all compared to white males. Black women make 62%. Asian women make 89%. Latinas make 54%. American, Indian, and Alaskan Natives make 57%. And Native, Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders make 61%. And so the wage gap, what drives it? Essentially, there's something called a motherhood penalty in hours worked, whereas women, as primary caregivers of children, they sometimes have to, work shorter hours because the kid gets sick. Usually the mother's the one that they call. So she has to leave work or try to figure out how to get the rest of her workload done and balance that and or make it up. Whereas men oftentimes don't have to worry about that. And so when employers are considering women, they know that that's a factor that's built into, the lifestyle that women lead. There's also childcare and maternity pay. There is no maternity pay in the US. legally. Every company has a right to give women maternity pay, but there's no mandate stating that women can still get paid. So that leads women to work later into their pregnancies and also try to return quicker, which then puts a burden on finding childcare. And again, that drives the financial issue with women is paying for childcare because it's expensive. The industry that women work in. So oftentimes well, not oftentimes, pretty much women work lower paying jobs that men will not work, or because of education as well, men, you don't typically find them in there. So a lot of women work in service jobs, whether it's bartending, retail, cleaning homes, and those just typically tend to be lower paying jobs. And then education wise, again, some women, depending on race and culture, don't have access to the same level of education as men or white men. And so that then drives a bigger gap into the wages that they make. And then again, racial and ethnic biases. There are just some stereotypes, whether positive or negative, that can affect the perception of people when they go to get hired. And so those are some of the main factors that drive the wage gap. So how can you reach women? How can you find us? Leaning on influencers. So just like women have girlfriends that we like to ask and confirm choices with, we lean on influencers and micro influencers to kind of guide our purchase decisions. If you are unfamiliar with what a micro influencer is, it's someone that just has like a small following, but they make enough of an impact to seem like a normal everyday person, which is what women value. You can lean on YouTubers because women are 50% more likely than men to go on YouTube and figure out how to do something. So even putting out how-to videos or giving information, or even having those influencers back your product. Those are very key factors to getting women attracted to your product and marketing to women. The second part is creating relationships. You have to win the trust of women because we love to talk. We love to form bonds. That's just how we communicate. We communicate differently with men. And even in stores, we tend to like shopping in stores because we appreciate the overall experience of going in, getting to know the person, touching the product, feeling like we can bond with the brand. So being authentic is just one of the key ways to create those relationships and to win the trust of women. Another thing is creating compelling content. So with that, there's several aspects to that. Women like to connect positively, and we like things that touch our emotions, that get us thinking and feeling. We like messaging that speaks to who we are and what we value. And we tend to have emotional attachments to products or things. And so if you can use that content or create content to form those bonds, it will take you a long way. One of my other favorite aspects of compelling content is what I call aspirational marketing. We like to see visuals, photos, or like videos of how our lives could be. We love picturing ourselves with a product or having a certain experience. And we like things that look nice. So, I mean, marketing and messaging that, is aspirational, that says, hey, wouldn't you love to, or can you imagine yourself? We want to feel that feeling. So that compelling content is extremely crucial when it comes to marketing to women. All right. Another way, women share content most likely that either entertains or informs us. We want to laugh, or we need to know why we need a product. Why is it important? And we also want to know the benefits and uses. One of the key things, though, is that we want you to show us why we need it. So sometimes keeping it concise and or putting information in a short video is a quick way to get a woman to look at it. Because once again, I told you, we use YouTube, we'll watch a clip to figure out how to do something. But we also are information gatherers before we make a purchase. So it is vital that if you have a product, you list some of the benefits and you kind of let women know how to use it. Champion causes. Again, philanthropy is extremely important to women. We care about causes, whether it's homelessness, animal abuse, social justice. We're traditionally on the front lines of any kind of movement. If you all remember what happened when Donald Trump got into office and you saw all the pink hats, women are very, very interested in social causes. And to state another interesting fact, 90% of the income that women make, they reinvest in their families and communities. So that's a huge opportunity to show women that you care and also get in on some of that market share as someone in the community. And lastly, we want to feel inspired and uplifted. We want you to show positivity to women, encourage us, support us, show us that we matter. And one of the ways, and one company that I think that did that very well is Dove. They started an entire campaign called Real Woman Campaign, because so often you see these supermodels and a lot of women don't like feeling compared to other women, but unfortunately as society, that's what happens. But Dove decided to no longer use actresses, actors, models. They only use real people. And Dove has made it a point to try to uplift women and boost their confidence. And so this is an old commercial, but I want to show you just kind of the ways that women feel and think about themselves. And so we're going to watch this short commercial.
I always thought people were so cute when they have the little cheeks and they're like rosy, but mine are pretty plain. If I was going to change one feature about my face, I would say that I would want fuller lips. I'm definitely a person that looks tired when I'm tired, and when people say that, I immediately am like, oh man. I'm starting to already get little crow's feet and stuff, which like my mom has, so yeah.
I'm a forensic artist. I was trained at the FBI Academy in 1993 in composite art. Worked for the San Jose Police Department as the police artist from 1995 to 2011.
We didn't really know what we were doing, so that was nerve-wracking for everyone.
I showed up to a place I'd never been and walked into this big warehouse. And at the very end, there was a guy with his back to me with a drafting board.
I had a curtain separating me so that I don't see him. We'll begin. First of all, tell me about your hair.
Brown, long, I guess a little bit past my shoulders.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw. Yeah, they're brown eyebrows, dark brown eyebrows.
Okay.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
I guess I haven't really compared it to anyone else's chin, but especially when like I smile, I just feel like it kind of protrudes a little bit.
What would be your most prominent feature?
I kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
You sort of realize, oh man, now I have to talk about myself and think about my looks.
I'm 40, so I'm starting to get a little bit of the crow's feet thing going on.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
Still didn't know. All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm going to ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm going to ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin was a nice, thin chin.
The women were really critical about moles or scars or things like that, and yet they were describing just a normal, beautiful person.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke and were very expressive.
The length of the nose, what is that like?
It's short.
Short.
Yeah, cute nose.
Her face was fairly thin.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your self-described image? And then somebody else described you in like this sketch.
I have this whole thing about having dark circles and crow's feet around my eyes, and that was not part of the sketch at all that the stranger did. The stranger's was a little more like gentle.
It's really different. Just very strange. She looks closed off and fatter. She just looks kind of shut down. Sadder, too. The second one is more beautiful.
You think they're catching more of that from you?
Yeah. She looks more open and friendly and happy. I've come a long way in how I see myself, but I think I still have some way to go.
I have some work to do on myself.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Chloe's perception was so clearly different. Her picture looked like somebody I thought I would want to talk to and be friends with, like a happy, light, much younger, much brighter person. It's troubling. I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. Couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Our self-perceptions are generally kind of harsh and unbecoming when really that's not how the world sees us. Spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right, and we should spend more time appreciating the things that we do like.
So as you can see with that, women definitely struggle when it comes to internal conversations about looks, unfortunately, because looks are a big part of society. Dove did a really good job of showing women that you matter and you're more than your beauty, but also give yourself grace. And so again, being a modern woman that's juggling relationships, career, family, and pressures to look a certain way, women just want to feel seen, heard, and they also want to feel supported and empowered. Give my computer a moment.
While your computer is doing that, Keisha, I want to share some of the responses, and then I'll circle back to some of the other questions once we get through it. Or this may be a good time. I'll let you finish this.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Some of the responses to the video, and I don't know if there's any on Facebook that Alan would need to share with us, but in the Zoom chat here, you know, some of the responses is, wow, I've never seen this commercial or this video. Wow, what a great experiment. I'm not crying, you are, and this is emotional. And this is emotional. And I think, you know, I agree with every single comment that was said. There are some other questions and comments about previous parts of the presentation that I'll circle back to at the end. But Alan, were there any responses or immediate reactions to that video that we just watched from Facebook?
Facebook Live is very quiet. The only comments in there from me, but I will say that I really enjoyed watching the video. I really hadn't thought about some of those things, so I'm glad that you shared those, Keisha, and it makes us make the connection to how we market to different audiences, in particular women. Absolutely.
Okay, well, if you guys are ready, so what does not work for us? So making things pink and small is definitely not the way to go. Not that you can't have pink and not that you can't have smaller items, but typically in the past, with more stereotypes of men being big and strong and women being small and fragile, marketers and products would be smaller. So that's not recommended. We just want to be seen as people. Obviously, we do appreciate aesthetics, but everything doesn't have to be small and pink. Grouping all women together is a no-no. Just knowing where we are in life, because we're all going through different phases, whether they're young women getting ready to go to college versus women that are heading into the workforce, or women that are having children and getting married. You don't want to group all of those segments together. You kind of want to look at individually what we value, you know, because a single businesswoman may not value the same thing that a working mother of 3 values, or a woman that is a stay-at-home mom values. So just keeping that in mind and further segmenting who your ideal person is as a woman. You don't want to stereotype and generalize. You need to split your messaging. If you offer more of a general product, again, like I said, to niche and target, you don't want to assume that, you know, just because this person is a woman that they're going to like this specific thing, or that they need to use this razor, because some women have a preference of shaving or not. So they're just differences in grooming, and you don't want to generalize and assume. You really want to take the time to do the work to figure out who your market is, or who your ideal market is when marketing to women. You want to limit negative messaging. Women don't respond very well to negative messaging. They don't really like to hear no, you can't, or don't do. One of the things that will get you very far, though, with women is politeness, pleases, thank yous. Those go an extremely long way when it comes to marketing with women, and even just communicating with women in general. It shows appreciation, and then that appreciation in turn helps build trust. Body and beauty shaming. Again, as you can see from the Dove commercial, we do that a lot internally already. So when it comes to companies, we like companies that celebrate our beauty, celebrate our differences, celebrate our uniqueness. And then lastly, being inauthentic. We can see that from a mile away when you're just trying to sell something to us. We really want you to think of us as having a relationship with your brand, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're investing our time, our money, our resources to getting to know your brand. And again, we will continue to be loyal, because women are brand loyal. So where can you find us? These are some of the top places you can find women consumers. Pinterest. We love Pinterest. We love getting ideas from Pinterest. We love communicating and making our boards on there. We're also one of the top users of Facebook and Instagram. You can find a lot of us on Twitter as well. Women also use Google search for specific things. So if say you're in the local nail salon, we're gonna Google nails near me. We're one of the top users of the near me and Google hashtag, or not hashtag, excuse me, the near me function in Google. So make sure that you're capitalizing on your local SEO, because that's a good way for you to find just women in the local area. You can find us looking at lifestyle blogs and magazines. We also like reality and celebrity-based content, again, entertaining and or informing. And you can find us on community-based sites on the internet. Okay, so some best practices when it comes to women. You really wanna, again, focus on our self-image, our representation and body positivity. All of that matters. You wanna make sure that all of that is being presented in a positive light. Again, make that specific to what you sell, because if you sell beauty products, that's going to be important. But if you sell an item that has nothing to do with that, probably steer clear of referencing anything that has to do with body. So market to where we are. Again, we're half the population. You can pretty much find us on the social media platforms mentioned before, and in communities online and offline, because we do love to create our own spaces and sisterhoods as women. We want you to value our multifaceted lives, understand that we do, again, balance career with family and fun and our hobbies. Make space for us whenever we are in areas. That is very important, because sometimes, like I said, women feel like they're unwanted or not valued or unheard. So making space for us is very important, even within your brand and within your platform. We want you to grow with us. So grow with us throughout all our life stage, as I mentioned before, from college to, career, to having children and getting married, or maybe not getting married. Just make sure you're really looking at where we are in each phase of our life and what we value and what our goals are. That will help your brand align more strongly with what that specific woman wants. I like to say connect, communicate, and cultivate. Connect with us, communicate with us, and cultivate a relationship with us. You'll go far. Embrace our diversity, because we are extremely diverse, whether, again, racially, culturally, and age. Just embrace our diversity and check in regularly with us. We want to make sure that you're not just selling to us once. Send us an email, say hello, send us a happy birthday email. We like to know that you're thinking of us and that we matter as an actual customer or client or friend to you. All right, and with that, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, I'm available.
That was awesome, Keisha. Thank you so much. I want to get to some of the questions and comments we had in the chat, and if other questions come up before we get to our 1:30 mark. So I'm just going to go back to the top here. I'm reading comments and questions. I just like to acknowledge everything. I'm just that person, women like to be heard and seen. So I like to acknowledge everything.
And we like positive affirmation, Natalie, so let's go.
So one of the first comments is, so what I see is that we are working a double load. And a response to that was, yeah, a lot of it is historical. And as society became more modern, the value of women didn't match that speed. And then there was a comment that I worked hard to become an assistant store manager at a retail store that I worked at for 13 years. Even after being promoted, I had to work even harder to prove that I belonged there. I unloaded trucks by myself, stocked groceries, worked 16-hour shifts. It was tough.
Wow.
Specific
kudos to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, and if anybody have a comment, feel free to unmute yourself and pop in on me here. But when I read that, my initial reaction was wow. I couldn't imagine. And my response actually to that was that the difference in how women are treated is one of the reasons why I left corporate America. I didn't feel valued. I wasn't valued. And I never stay where I'm not valued. So
100%.
it's really still sad to see how that happens. And then the slide that you had specifically about the breakdown of the wage gap, and then you broke it down by race as well. It was a really interesting slide for me, particularly, especially as I think about Black Women Equal Pay Day. For those that don't know, that's next month. That's August. This year it falls on August 13th, I believe. But Black Women Equal Pay Day is the day in the year that it takes all of the year before up until that date in the year for a Black woman to make the same that a white man made in a year. Did that make sense? So August 13th, all of 2019 and up until August 12th of 2020 is when a Black woman's salary would match what a white man made the year before. It was just really interesting to see that broken down by race, because then you can kind of think through the time frame for women in other race sectors, you know?
I actually saw a figure, as you said, I mean, of course it popped out to me as a Black woman. So it said that Black women, in order to make the same amount as a white man at retirement, would have to work, I think, until she's 82. And then with that, she's gonna miss out on $946,000.
Yep, absolutely.
By the time she's 65, if she retires then.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're still seeing these figures as of right now. I don't think, and of course, like I said, we know that this impacts all women, but if you look at the numbers as a decrease for women in each category, because the statistic I think showed Black women having the biggest gap, right? I think that's what I saw. But
it was Latinx
women having the biggest gap.
Yes.
When you think about those, and you can kind of shift your mind to where women in other areas would fall, but really, it's still really heartbreaking for me, because I think the statistic shows that it's not until 21, 24 is the year that I guess data scientists are anticipating that women may start to make equal pay. And that's just unacceptable, in my opinion. But which goes to my next comment in the chat, which was hashtag equal pay for equal work. And then someone else shared that I lost a whole month of pay due to maternity when I worked for the school system. And I had to pay $50 a day for my substitute. And they said they took a screenshot of that slide that you had with the statistics, and they thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, thank you. I actually saw something, and I don't know if anyone heard recently, there was a report out about the best and worst places to raise a family, and the US was the second worst, because we're the top, like allegedly the top developing country, and you have all these European countries that offer not weeks, but like almost a half of year in maternity leave for women. And we offer nothing at a federal level, which is disgusting to me, but.
Yeah. So we had a comment from one of the men in the chat today and said, the pink tax is new information for me. That's not the biggest issue, of course, but it truly surprised me. And I just responded that many people are still not aware of the pink tax.
And let me speak to that also. If I had heard of the pink tax, I forgot it. But as soon as you started describing it, I said, "Yep, that's exactly true." I try not to shop all the time, but I have noticed some of the same or very similar products cost a little bit more. It wasn't, twice as much, but it was more. And the example that you gave about was it the Mach 10 razor, whatever it was?
Yeah, the razor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. No argument.
Same with shampoo and hair care products. Like men can get some shampoo for like $4 or $5, and women, especially Black women, our shampoo's like 10 to 12 on average. So
that's why my wife gets so upset when I use hers.
Oh yes.
So yeah, that was from Rick about the pink tax. And then Alicia had a comment. She said, super information, thanks for that. And then she would love to hear your thoughts about how these facts and statistics translate to services rather than products.
Does she have like a specific example? Like which statistics or just?
Oh, I think the statistics you were sharing at that time.
At the beginning, the facts.
And Alicia, jump in if I say the wrong information, but I think the statistics you were sharing at that time was about the pink tax information, like the pricing and all of that.
Well, and I think it was right before that, and you were, that was really fantastic information about the women being the, you know, making purchasing decisions. You can help me out here.
Yeah, the key decision makers when it comes to the purchasing.
Can you swipe back to that slide maybe, Keisha, if it's quick?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pause my sharing while I scroll through.
Where you were talking about what we value.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what was your question as far as like services?
Yeah, so I can kind of, you know, readily understand how to kind of spin that information towards products, but what I'm personally selling are services, both from a co-working standpoint and a design standpoint. So I wonder how to implement this information.
So essentially, the main thing, I guess, to take away from this is whether they're single or whether we are coupled or partnered up, women make most of the decisions. I saw a lot of data, I didn't include it in here, but when it comes to purchasing cars or, you know, deciding to go to a tax person or do financial planning, women are usually the ones that make those decisions. So household wise, women are usually the ones to say, hey, we need this service, or hey, we need to sign up for this. So it's just in general, women tend to make those decisions when it comes to managing house and finances. And I think the statistic I saw is that women, when it comes to finances in homes, manage about 75%. So even with what you were saying, co-working space and design, that's still a financial decision or a decision that someone would need to make. And usually women make those decisions.
And I want to add to that from a different lens as we think about services. I think when we're talking about marketing services, I want to add that it's just like some of the other things we've talked about before, like you want to include women in positive presentations from a marketing lens. So when you're showing success in your company or success with your brand or whatever the case may be, you know, just kind of making sure that women see themselves in that role, or that if your business is a service and your business have women hopefully in leadership roles where we all belong, because as Keisha shared with us on many slides today, we make the decisions many times. You are showing the world that your brand or your company, your service value the women within it, and you use that part of your marketing. We support each other. Knowing that will make me support your business. Mm-hmm. Knowing that women are at the top of a co-working space in your example, or at the top of a design company, I'm likely to lean more towards that.
That's the sisterhood bond.
Yeah, than not. You know what I mean? So I think that kind of adds to services as well, because sometimes it is hard when you don't have a physical product.
But I mean, that's even part of the female positive space and community, because a lot of these communities are not physical products. It could just be inspirational conversations. But again, even when it comes to marketing, like you said, show women why we need this. That's really the basis of how to market to us. Let us put ourselves in, if it's a co-working space, I want to see imagery that shows me working there so I can imagine myself like, oh my gosh, I could be sitting here with my laptop drinking coffee. Look at me feeling like a boss. And it's owned by a woman. Okay, let me sign up.
And it's interesting. I'm laughing in my head right now. So there's this guy that I know. We were having a phone conversation last night, actually. And during our conversation, he said something that really just made me laugh so hard. He said, and men that are with us today, let me know if he's lying. But he said, he said women really are the reason that men, in his opinion, women are the reason that men do better. He said if it was up to men in general, he was like, if it was up to us, we would probably never leave our parents' house. We would just be there. Or if we did get our own place, it would just be a place. He was just like, but because we know that a woman one day has to step into this place or whatever, we have to now think, oh, we need curtains because we don't have curtains. She's gonna be like, why don't you have curtains, or whatever the case may be. And it was just a very funny conversation. I remember laughing so hard because he was like, he said, women truly make men better. And he said, honestly, women make society better. He used the old saying that men may have discovered fire, but women learned how to play with it. And I was just like, you know what? I really appreciate the comment. But I'll move on with the last few comments that I see here. And I don't think that we have any on Facebook, but if so, Alan will jump in. I already shared the comments with you about the video and how it touched those of us in the group. And then Alicia came back with us and said, somebody please tell the NFL to stop dressing players in pink during October because they aren't fooling anyone. That's a very interesting point of view, Alicia. I never thought about it because I just always associated with breast cancer, but you're right.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretending that, the NFL is so supportive of women. But I think what we've seen, in media is that some of the players are some of the worst offenders for respecting women. And I think, it's pink washing.
Oh, pink washing. Y'all coined
I
that.
like that.
Pink washing, yes.
I agree. I feel that way in October when everything from detergent to a Swiffer to a Ziploc bag turns pink. I'm like, I get it, but
it's patronizing.
It is. And that was the one thing you definitely don't want to do to women. Yes, don't patronize. And even a fun fact that I saw about the NFL, I think 47% of their viewership and fans are women. So
I just want to say I'm a big NFL fan. I'm not down on football. I love it.
And then we had another I'm sorry, did you say something, Alan, or somebody?
You can go ahead, I'll wait.
I was just going to share the last comment I see here. It's also from Alicia. She said, in our design business, in the beginning, when my male partner and I would go to meetings with clients and contractors, they would always defer to him. Though I was the designer and president, he always redirects them to me. And
that's good. That's part of making space.
Well, but it's just so interesting. I'm glad you shared that because it's just so interesting how oftentimes people assume, women and men do this. It's not just on the opposite sex here. People assume in a partnership, for example, that the male is the leader in the business or something like that. We have one of our board members who has her own company, and she's actually the founder and CEO of the company. And I remember having a conversation with her because I noticed at one point that her website said she was the COO. And I was like, why did you do that? Like, why does it say that? Hopefully she doesn't mind I'm sharing this, but she said to me, well, she recognized that they got more business with him as the named CEO. And I was like, what? I mean, I absolutely, she changed it. I was like, unacceptable. No,
Yeah.
no, but it's just really sad that we still live in a society like that, So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Alicia.
Even in the medical field, a lot of doctors and female doctors, they walk in and they've said patients will assume they're the nurse. And it's just like, no, I'm actually your surgeon and your doctor.
Yeah.
He's the nurse.
Yeah. Yeah. And Alan, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, what I was going to comment on is, number one, this has been an outstanding series, and I hope that everyone has had an opportunity to get the most out of all of them. One of the common themes with all four populations, if you will, that we're seeking to market more effectively to, is everyone wants to feel represented. Everyone is more likely to listen to what you have to say about your product or service if they see themselves in it. Not just people that represent them in the advertising, but also in the things that you're talking about, or those things that people in that group care about. And so I really appreciate that. It makes marketing a little tougher, but it's well worth it because you're truly connecting with people as opposed to just selling them something.
Yeah.
Because there, again, between everything today, there's an intersectionality with all of it. And so the key with that is exploring it and coming up with a few ideal personal profiles of what you think your customer is and build on those, because that niching will prove to be invaluable for you. So, I mean, the example is not just saying like, I want to attract college age women. It would be more like, I want to attract women that are college age, that attend HBCUs, that have an affinity for this type of music. Like, you really want to dive deep, even though that may not be exactly who you find, but it helps you better market to that person and spend more time with the people that want your product.
Agreed. And I thank you, Alan, for saying that, because it's the perfect wrap up to today's conversation and to the series. As you all know, I probably said this. I know I said this at the end of every single series so far. Session so far in the series. Those common themes that we've seen, we saw it today, we saw it last week, and the 2 weeks before that, you saw stay genuine. Nobody wants you to be inauthentic in your marketing towards everybody. We saw that at the core of this, at the base of it, basically what we are telling you, whether you're talking to a Black person or a Hispanic person or someone in the LGBTQ community or to a woman, at the base of it, we're all human. And if you can truly just wrap your mind around that in your marketing efforts, it'll make the world of a difference on who supports you, how good your business runs. So, to Alan's point, as long as people can see themselves or know that your company values them, whether or not you are actively doing something, as long as people can see that you value them as human, you are on the right track when it comes to marketing your business, your brand, your products, your services. So kind of keep that in mind. And thank you all so much for joining us for this series. To answer the very first question that did come through to this chat, in case anyone needs any of the presentations from any of the last 4 weeks, you would just email us at hustlewsinfo@gmail.com. We're happy to send you any of the presentations. I'm sure Keisha will send this to me. It's probably in my inbox. And we also share the live link with you, or you can always visit our Facebook page and rewatch the live link. Thank you, Rick. And if you have any remaining questions, whether it's for me or Keisha, we have ways to connect you. So just kind of reach out to Hustle and we'll get that information to you. And hopefully you can join us next month for those with businesses or those just interested in marketing in general for our series, Marketing Outside the Box. Once again, we're doing the Millionaire Email Marketing Series. So we're really super excited about that. And have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you all.
Krista said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So yeah, have a great Wednesday, everyone.
Yes, enjoy everyone.
Great job.
Keisha.
Great job.
Thanks.
Keisha, remind me where you are.
I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah, because we talked about your state opening up before everybody.
Oh, yes.
Remember that.
Oh, it's been a mess.
Well, thank